Back on CBS Sports HQ, from a mile high to Monaco, it's been an eventful offseason for Denver's newest darling. Franchise QB Russell Wilson has made the rounds at Grand Prix and Game 7s alike, but the work has traveled with him, with Russ looking to cook up a title in what many consider the toughest division in all of football. We're back in the mix with the two-time CBS NFL analyst Bryant McFadden. B-Mac, Russ is out here living this offseason. There's no two ways about it. Hitting all the events, but he's made sure that we know he's getting the work in as well with his new targets. 16-1 to win it all, but you got to see Mahomes, Herbert, DC twice apiece. Is this a contender or a pretender in Denver in your eyes?
I mean, contender. When you have a quarterback, you have more than a fighting chance. And the last time the Denver Broncos had a Hall of Fame-like quarterback, which was Peyton Manning, they went on to win a Super Bowl. Joe, I'm not ready to say that just yet, but I am ready to say with the addition of Russell Wilson, this team is a contender, even though they're playing in what I call the group of death. That AFC West is going to be a very, very competitive division. But with curly hair Russell Wilson, you got more than a fighting chance. Look at these starting quarterbacks. Oh, my goodness. The Bronco fans right now, they're putting their head between their legs and hiding because of disgust, just looking at some of these names, because the standard has been set so high when it comes to the quarterback position, starting back with the great John Elway. But having Russell Wilson along with Javonte Williams, Sutton, Judy, Patrick, defensively, you went out and added Randy Gregory. This team should be very, very competitive. They should be very, very good. But it all starts and stops at the quarterback position with curly hair Russell Wilson.
You know me, I'm excited to see how he's going to unlock this wide receiving core that has so much potential. We'll see what he can do with those guys. Let's talk about the silver and black and well as out of that group of death, as you called it. The Raiders punched their tickets to the playoffs last season with that thrilling Week 18 victory over the Chargers. That win also put your Steelers in the tournament, so let's not forget that. Give thanks where thanks is due. Vegas adding arguably the best receiver in the league to that offense this offseason. 40-1 worth a sprinkle, or are you not buying?
Yeah, sprinkle. I don't like sprinkles on my ice cream, but for this particular day, I'll take a few sprinkles, and here's why. This was a team, as you mentioned, Joe, got into the playoffs. They were basically a possession away from defeating the Cincinnati Bengals, who went on to represent the AFC in their Super Bowl. This is a talented team, but they have improved their roster from what they had a year ago. Adding Devontae Adams, adding Chandler Jones to the defensive side as well. Now you have structure. People forget about the adversity, the trials and tribulations this organization had to endure during the season, and still found a way to get into the playoffs and had a very, very competitive round one game, even though they lost. Throw all of that out of the window and now just be able to indulge in paradise with structure on the coaching staff, along with this man right here. This is a man who's been playing top-notch football for quite some time. We oftentimes overlook Derek Carr and what he's been able to do, but adding Devontae Adams to the fold, yes, this team, in my opinion, even though, like I said, they're playing in a group of death, the AFC West is going to be competitive, but I believe they're a contender.
Yeah, there you see the passing numbers with a carousel of targets in his...
Put some respect on Derek Carr's name, please.
That's it, man. He's a heck of a leader, too, and it speaks to the situations that they went through, the way that team was able to galvanize and stay together, punch their ticket to the playoffs. We'll see what they can do coming out of that division this go-around. Let's pivot to the AFC South, where the Colts are, again, an in-vogue pick as they have been the last couple years. 98% of the total on Indy handle come out in Vegas on the over 9.5 wins. Plenty of public trust in Matty Ice and Jonathan Taylor, but at 25-1, do you position them as a true contender?
I do, because they have structure on both sides of the football, especially on the offensive end. The only thing that held them back was the quarterback, Carson Wentz. It's safe to say, Joe, if Matt Ryan was the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts a year ago, they would have gotten to the tournament easily. But he is there now with Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in the National Football League. An offensive line, when healthy, can be one of the more dominating groups. And then a very, very opportunistic defense that got better personnel-wise. Added Yannick Ngakoue to that defensive line with DeForest Buckner. Stephon Gilmore is there as well. I mean, this is a team that has balance on both sides of the ball. And with the structure and the consistency, I believe Matt Ryan will play with, along with a division that's not extremely sticky, right? The AFC South is basically a two-team division right now before anything is played. I think they have an easier way to get into the tournament. And we all know when you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. So, yes, I do believe they're a contender.
Structure, consistency, and urgency with
Yes.
Matt Ryan wanting to get this thing done in the twilight of his career, getting a fresh breath of fresh air, that is, in Indianapolis. We'll see how it plays out. I feel like we might have buried the lead here a little bit. This is quite literally a Dallas Cowboys segment. For 3 decades or so, Dallas fans have been caught somewhere between contender and pretender. We know what the expectation is out of the big office there in Big D, in which each passing year, the pressure does intensify. 18-1, juicy enough for you to call them a contender?
No, I'm sorry, Cowboy fans. I think they're a pretender this year. And the reason why, for such a long time, as you said, 30-plus years, this is a team that has been searching. The last time they were legit contenders, New York Undercover was one of my favorite shows. And that was in the mid to late 90s. New York Undercover has been long gone for such a long time. Not on anymore. Well, showing replays, and I love them, by the way. But they're not there yet. I think the Cowboys missed their window of opportunity. And here's why I say that, is because for such a long time, over the last two plus years or so, the NFC East has been watered down. The Cowboys have nothing to show for playing in a watered down division. Now the NFC East is starting to, gain some energy. Some of the bad teams are starting to improve. Not drastically, but here or there, taking small steps. So I think that's going to hamper the Cowboys' opportunity to be able to have an easier path to get into the tournament. Dak Prescott still playing pretty good football. The offensive line hasn't been the unit that we've seen over years past, and because of that, we haven't seen the sound production coming from Ezekiel Elliott. An opportunistic defense, but a defense that sometimes throughout the course of a year ago, they got soft, especially against the run. So me personally, I think the window has closed for the Dallas Cowboys, primarily speaking because of the division. It will be a more competitive division. I'm not saying it's going to be one of the best divisions in the National Football League, but heck, Joe, let's keep it real. It was like the Cowboys were the only varsity team in that division in the last few years, and they have nothing to show for it. So I say pretenders.
Yeah, there's a better quarterback in Washington, a stout defense, and some dudes in Philly. We'll see what New York can be as well. 18-1 is that number. Let's stay right in that neighborhood and talk about 16-1, the number attached to the San Francisco 49ers, who also found themselves in a bit of a quarterback controversy, quarterback purgatory, if you will. Jimmy G still on that roster. Going to be a very expensive backup quarterback if it is Trey Lance week 1. Which quarterback are you rolling with, and does that make them a contender or pretender?
Trey Lance. Trey Lance is the guy. People can say, well, he hasn't earned the job yet. He haven't earned the job yet, but it's his job. When you draft the guy as high as they did, it's a matter of time before he jumps into the saddle to be your ringleader for the offense. But I think this is a team that's a contender, and here's why. Kyle Shanahan. I mean, with Sean Payton now retired from the game, he is the best play caller in the league. And if you give Kyle Shanahan a poor man's Lamar Jackson, that's no knock on Trey Lance when it comes to the athleticism, but Lamar Jackson is an outlier when it comes to that standpoint at the quarterback position. You better believe Kyle Shanahan is going to dial up some heavy heat with Trey Lance, a mobile quarterback, extremely athletic. We look at some of the other mobile guys on that offense with the versatility of Debo, Brandon Ayuk. This should be a huge year for him, by the way. Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, Elijah Mitchell. I mean, Kyle Shanahan can make things happen with a lot of guys who might not be considered to be household names, but now you give him an athletic quarterback, not to mention defensively, Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa. They added Ward from the Kansas City Chiefs along with Fred Warner. This is going to be a talented team. They're going to be so entertaining to watch offensively. I understand you're chasing the Los Angeles Rams in their division, but get this, Joe. They're not afraid of the Rams. Yeah. They're not afraid of the Rams at all. They welcome that challenge, and they've been able to do so the last few years. So give me contender for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, it was head-to-head dominance until that NFC title game in which LA finally took care of the Niners in their own building. Can't wait for kick. B-Mac going to be here to break it all down from now until then, yes, and then through the final whistle. B-Mac, we appreciate you as always. And for more Bryant McFadden, download, subscribe, and enjoy the All Things Covered podcast. B-Mac, P2, sitting down with the biggest names in sports and entertainment week in and week out for can't-miss conversations. Download, subscribe, and enjoy All Things Covered.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.